Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining me. This is Living Divinity. So today I want to talk about clearing the air. So many times in relationships, it could be at work, it could be your significant other, it could be with your child. And there could be I want to call it like cross-contamination between, say like three parties. So an instant that I can tell you is when my daughter was little, she was actually with her auntie, and her auntie had a daughter about a year younger than my daughter. So for whatever reason, she decided she was going to test drive a car. So anyways, there was an accident. I spoke with my ex-husband. He said, our daughter's fine. That his niece was hurt a little bit, but his daughter was fine. So he always had a way of setting me up to make me look bad in front of my daughter. So that was what he communicated to me, was that she was fine. So I said, well, I'm at work. There's no sense in me leaving work if she's okay. And so when I went to pick her up, she was at her grandma's house. And so her little cousin was there too. So, I kind of was coddling towards her little cousin because that's what her dad said, was that my daughter was fine and her little cousin was hurt kind of bad. So then my daughter gave me a funny look like, Mom, don't you even care about me? That was the information that I got from her dad. How could I explain that to an 8-year-old that, her dad said this stuff? I never wanted to speak bad of him. So then when I got my daughter in the car and got her home, she was saying that the strap hurt her stomach and stuff. And I just told her, I'm sorry that I didn't know. All I could say was your dad said you were fine. And then she said, we waited for you. Dad said you were coming to the hospital. We waited for you. You never came. Now, how heart-wrenching is that for my daughter, right? To be told that her mother's coming and to sit around and wait. Well, he knows that he told me different. And, I just didn't want my daughter. She was already really damaged from the divorce. And I didn't want to worsen it and make her choose me over her dad. So I just tried to just let it lie down. Now, clearing the air, I'm having to wait 20 years to just clear the air because, my daughter and I, she came out her senior year and she was able to go to the high school out in Hawaii. So that was the year that we were making up time, the last time that we lost, from the time she was 8 to the time she was 16, 17. And I left the area when 2007, so she was 11. So from 11 to 17, I just saw her sporadically. And then after her senior year, she went off to college, which she never made it to college, which caused her to go to the East Coast to live with her dad or to live close to her dad or whatnot. And the big separation, right? She was raised to choose not to speak about me to her dad or to his dad's wife or whatever. She was really tortured in a lot of different ways, which I really didn't know about a lot of it. I mean, I didn't know about really any of it, except for a few things here and there where I was actually involved. And now that she's 28 And, she's, she could see that her dad's a narcissist, and that she had a lot of good things to tell her fiance about me. So, the whole miscommunication can be on purpose, just like that instance. And that went on for many years. To clear the air, now that she's 28, I can talk to her as an adult, and the things that we have talked about, she's like, yeah, Mama, I understand. I understand why you did exactly what you did. And the funny thing is, when she was little, I would tell her, you're really not going to understand. When you're a teenager or younger, you're not really going to understand until you've had some time being an adult. So I feel very confident that, we're going to make up time, and she has her boundaries and I have my own boundaries, and, we're just going to clear the air as we go along. But for those of you who are in that situation where you need to clear the air, there's always a fine line, I say, between love and hate. There's always a fine line of what you're choosing to say and how you're choosing to give that information out. Whenever the situation like that comes about, you really just have to for me, I just had to just love my daughter regardless. I just had to show her love and try to spend some time with her and do things for her. And, just make the best of our little bit of togetherness that we had. As adults, when you're working with somebody and, there's a situation, you have to be careful how you say it, because you want to make sure that you're clear. You're clear in what answer you're looking for. You're clear in and trying to communicate for the betterment of, like, your group. If you're at work, if you're at home, then of course between your family, between your spouse, it could be your parents. You could be trying to say, hey, Mom, I didn't like what happened yesterday. Can we sit down and talk about it? And, the person you're trying to communicate with has to be in the right mindset too. But I'm saying, to clear the air, you have to have the right intent. You have to have the right approach. You have to, maybe, what is it called? Hand holding. You gotta hold hands and, and guide them to where you're trying to get them. But, if you're doing it maliciously, if you're trying to trigger someone, it's not really that good. It's not going to have the outcome that you want. To clear the air, and I keep saying that, and it's so I could just tell my mind, like, what is it that I'm trying to tell all of you out there? In other words, if you're angry, it's best to not try to clear the air at that moment. But you could say, look, Sue, I'm really upset right now, and I don't want to talk to you right this minute, but when I'm ready and you're ready, then we need to sit down and talk so you can clear the air. And clearing the air could be anything. It could be about infidelity. It could be about overspending. It could be about being wasteful, like not eating all of your food and not eating leftovers. It could be about any kind of waste. It could be time wasted. We've been together for 10 years. What have we done in these 10 years? What have we accomplished? We've argued, we've fought, we can't come to terms. Where will we go from here? Because either has to be some changes that has to be seen and actions have to be taken, or we should just end this, kind of like that, and I hate ultimatums. I would rather have someone treat me the way that I treat them. And if I treat them good, then treat me good. And everybody's perception of good is not exactly the same. So it's good to sit down and talk about it and clear the air. We never know when God's going to take us. We never know when someone's going to decide to take another path. Do we want to live in regret? Do we want to say, oh, I should have spoke up. Oh, I should have talked to that person. I should have reached out to that person. My brother Kenny, we're not that close, but, I still love him. But my one brother, Michael, died, and well, he had like a serious hate for that brother. Mike was about 2 or 3 years older than my brother Kenny. And I don't know what exactly happened, but he just couldn't stand that brother for whatever reason. But when he died, I was talking to my brother Kenny. I said, Randy's getting kind of sick and he's getting kind of old. You should reach out to him and make amends with him. And he said, yeah, which is a lot of times, a lot of things we all say is, yeah, we need to do that, but we just don't. So what happens is, my brother Randy took ill, and I told my brother Kenny, he's a Christian. You should reach out to him and make amends. And well, I got the phone call from my brother Randy's wife, and I'm the youngest, and she said, I'm sorry to call you. She's like, I tried calling Robert, but he didn't answer, and she told me that my brother Randy expired on, I want to say it was a Monday or Tuesday morning, and she said he was rushed to the hospital. He had back-to-back pneumonia. He already had diabetes and overweight and a bad heart and whatever else was actually ailing him. And now that brother Randy, he was like put in a coma twice. And when he came out, I was talking to him. I said, you better start taking care. You went under twice. You might not make it out the next time. And, he was saying the doctors were scaring him, saying he almost died, that he didn't really believe it, but that's what they were saying. I said, because you almost freaking died. Start eating better. Start doing stuff to change your life, change your eating habits. Do yourself better. Because you went under twice, you might not come out again. So back to my brother Kenny, he never reached out to my brother Randy. So when I got the news that my brother Randy expired, I called my oldest brother and I told him, and then he said, well, call the family down there, So I had to call my brother Kenny, and I called him at work, and he's usually busy. And I don't really like calling him at work, but I called him at work and I said, hey, what are you doing? Are you busy? And he's like, no. I said, you better sit down. And he sat down. I said, Randy died this morning. And all he could answer was, oh, I never reached out. I thought I had more time. So he has to live with that. The fact that he was warned. Like, he was warned. And he didn't take heed. Now he has to live with that he was warned and never took action. It was like that when my dad was dying. I told him, I said, Dad, Tina thinks that you don't love her. I said, it's all right for you because you're dying. But she's got to live the rest of her life wondering or thinking or feeling, Dad never loved me. He told her that he loved her. And she took care of him during his last days. And honestly, I don't know if it really mattered to her that he said that, because she just harbors a lot of pain from growing up that she was never allowed to heal. She left the house and she got married right away and started having kids, and I mean, she lived a little bit before she actually got married, but she never gave herself the time that she needed to heal herself. She just went kind of like from our house to a relationship, you know. I think she had one relationship before that. And I love my sister Tina, but I can't really be around her because of how she makes me feel. And I've already cleared the air with her. You know, I already explained to her that, you know, I was always given to her, you know. I gave her whatever I could along the way, which really wasn't much, but it was more than others have given her. And when I needed something, she was very hateful about, you know, loaning me her car when I gave her a wholesale $3,500 car back in 1995 or whenever it was when my dad died. How could she be so mean to me after I gave her that? She doesn't owe me anything. Nobody owes anybody anything, but when someone's in need and you freely give, that, you know, the table turns, and then sometimes you're in need. And what do you get? You get a bunch of heartache and a bunch of, you're a problem, you're a burden to me, go away. So, you know, I said my piece to her. And, you know, I'm basically leaving and never returning. You know, I'll keep in touch with my oldest brother. Everybody else can really just kiss my ass, you know. My oldest sister, I love her too, but you know, her and my other sister, they gang up. They gang up on the third party. They did that to my sister Terry, who's dead now, who's been dead, who might have been a little slutty when she was growing up. She was experimenting with her life. She was testing out all the different flavors. Doesn't mean she spent her whole life doing that, but that's all they talk about. And I say, how dare they talk about her? She's in the ground. How dare they talk about what she was like 40 years ago, 50 years ago, whatever. How can they keep saying the same old thing? Like, you know, like, get a life, you know. What's your life about? What are you doing with your life? You could be doing more with your life, but you gotta want to do more with your life. My brother Kenny, I cleared the air with him. And I let him know, you know, he was trying to bust on me, and I knew stuff about him. I started busting on him, and he was shocked that I knew. I never treated him any different, knowing those things that I knew. I never treated him different. But once he started badgering me, I turned into a badger myself. And that's how I clear the air with people. I say what I think they need to hear, not because I'm above them. It's like I have grandma in in my head, I have Grandma telling me to tell my uncle and his wife put the house back to what she wanted. My uncle's 80 now, and I don't want to be putting him in a heart attack or a stroke, so I tell his wife. I've already told her 2 times. She's already shared it with him. And I went as far as telling his wife, your handicapped child, as long as I'm around, I will make sure that child gets to be in that house till the day she dies. That's the trade-off, was putting the house back. Like, what's more important, having control of the house or ensuring your daughter gets to enjoy, not really enjoy because she's handicapped, but you understand, to take her out and put her in a handicapped home. What kind of life is she going to have there? She'll be able to semi-socialize with the other handicapped children or adults. But other than that, that's the house she knows. I know how important that is, to lose that. I lost that when my mother died. My sister Tanya's kids, they know what that's like. They lost that house when their mother died. For my uncle and his wife, why would they want control over that house? Wouldn't they rather give up the control of that house and ensure that their daughter gets to live her life out there? I already have someone in mind, but they're so busy wanting to hold on to the house as theirs when they know it's not for them. They have to live dying knowing that the house will probably be sold and that money will go towards caring for their daughter in a handicapped home. And the legacy's totally washed away by then. Their best bet is to return the house as it was, as the way Grandma wanted it. Then people will be willing to care for her daughter like their own, better than their own, and let the daughter live there until she dies. And then the house will be restored back to the way Grandma wanted it, to house family members who need a place to stay. And if there is such thing as Section 8 in the next 20 or 30, 40 years, then those are the family members that will stay there. And the money combined is not to be taken by anyone. It's to help our family members along the way. And we would need to have, 4 or 5 people to oversee that the money's to be spent to keep the house up, to help out with family reunions, to help out with family members who need a place to stay, who can get on the Section 8 until they stand on their own 2 feet. And it could be, the way my grandma wanted it to be. Not anyone flopping there for free. That's why I say what I gotta say. Because Grandma meant that much to me. Has nothing to do with my mom being on the will and therefore I want my share. It's never been about that. It's been about the family legacy. Nowadays, you can probably get at least $2,500 for that house a month. That's a lot of money. It's a lot of money that Grandma had intended to be for our family, to help out, to keep the house up. My cousins, yeah, I spoke to them about their own grandfather, my grandfather. They need to go to the cemetery and look at his marker. They want to try to dishonor him and say he was never in the service. They don't give those markers away to anybody. And yeah, I was pretty angry when I said it. I was pretty frustrated when I said it. But I never called my uncle or my cousin bad words. I never said terms like, that fucking bitch. And I say that outright because her daughter said that about me behind closed doors. And when I repeated it back to her, she was shocked that I knew. I knew what she said, and I wasn't even present. So, when people have something to say, they should try to come to me and have some sort of respect, the same respect that I give to them. Don't talk behind my back, because God hears everything. God hears everything. And if I'm connected with God, that's how I know. My cousin's daughter said that fucking bitch. And I know when people are hating on me, and I get a picture of who they are, and all I can say is return to sender, God. Because they're not woman or man enough to come to my face and say anything. They gotta talk behind my back. So I just say return to sender. Whatever you're sending me, I wish I could say it was good. And if it is good, then I'm sending it back. Sending you back the same energy you're sending me. And I let it be. So that's another way of clearing the air. It's if these people can't come to you, if they're at a distance, if it's just so frustrating to go right to them. But really, to get your real freedom, you have to go to each one of these people and you have to say, this is what's bothering me. This is, these actions, these non-actions, these gossiping, this betrayal. You have to say that. I told my older sister I've been betrayed my whole life. She never even said no. She never even denied it. Must be true. She must be one of them. Doesn't mean I don't love her. I love everybody. I love people that are just people. They're just family. I only told one person I hated him. And I said it one time and never said it again. And that was my mom. I was about 8 or 10. And I decided to go to my friend's house after school. And I stayed there till dark. Till, it's getting dark. And then they said, oh, you should go home now. When I got home, my mom was mad. She's like, I was sending everybody out all over looking for you. We were getting ready to call the police and say that you're missing. Where were you? And why didn't you call me? And I was busy playing with Elena, the greatness, at her house. And my mom was scolding me, and I'm sure I seen it on TV, but I said, I hate you. She slapped me. She said, never say that again. Never did. Never said it to anybody. I was so sorry I said it to my mom. That I never wanted to put that hurt on anybody. And I didn't want to feel that guilt. Ever. We all find ways to clear the air, don't we? But never carry the burdens of others. It's hard enough to carry your own. And when you're tired of carrying your own, you open your heart up to God and you say, God, I'm at the bottom. I need help up. God, I want to clear the air with you today. God, I want to open my heart and let you come into my heart. Forgive me for my sins, Lord. I promise from this day forward that I'll be thankful for my life. I'll be thankful that I have you in my life. I'll realize that you're really all I need. And if I come to you and have you on the forefront every day of my life, well, then I don't have much to worry about, right, Lord? You ask for your forgiveness. Ask for God's forgiveness for your sins. And promise yourself you'll never do it again. Promise yourself you'll do your best to be better every day. You'll master life without trickery, without malicious intent, without jealousy, without envy, without greed. You do it all for the love of God. And you clear the air with God. When you do that, it makes it easy to clear the air with all those around you that have hurt you. Because when you stand by God, people think they can still come up against you because they don't know God. But they find out real soon, real fast. Just thank God every day. Thank Him for being in your life. Thank you for the life that He's given you. Thank you, God, for the life. No matter how good or bad it is, just begin to be thankful. And God will see your heart. And He will see you through. Thank you all for joining me. I hope I helped you in some way to help you figure out how to clear the air in your life, in your daily task, your everyday life with your loved ones, your children, your spouse, your parents, your siblings. And clear the air with God Almighty. Let Him into your heart. Let Him help you clean yourself, cleanse your mind, body, and soul. Thank you. God bless. Have a very good day. See you next time.